Hi, I'm Bernard Porter, President of PCG Institute, the Science of Artist Development. We'd like to welcome you here today, and we've got a masterclass series that we're really excited about. We're going to be featuring iconic people in all forms of the industry, and today we're honored to have just a great person, a great industry executive, and just a world of experience, Mr. Peter Robinson. Welcome, Peter.
Thank you, Bernard.
Now, I had the privilege of meeting Peter. I've always considered myself the cold call king, and there was a band out of Florida that had sent me some music, and I became an immediate fan and contacted them, and they weren't a country band. So it was a little bit of a challenge for me because I had built my career on developing those relationships in really California and Nashville, and I felt like this was more of a New York place, so I was excited about it, and so did my research and called the A&R department for RCA New York, and by chance, the right timing, Peter happened to pick up the phone. I don't know how I did it. And I charmed my way into sending him some music overnight, and he was nice enough to call me back the next day and say, wow, I kind of get this, and when can I see these guys? So to make a long story short, we ended up signing a band called House of Dreams, and incredible project, and ended up going to Los Angeles and recording a record, and we became friends over the whole incident, and now he is in Nashville, and just glad to consider you a friend, and just one of the good guys in the business. So.
Thank you, Bernard. It's funny that you call it the incident. Did you catch that? Actually, it's one of the members of the band is in the audience right now.
That's right. Britton Cameron, we'd like to welcome Britton, who is working with him at PCG. I'm very proud about that. So what hooked you in the music business, man? I mean, what was that thing that got you in? What, was a musician?
I think like a lot of us, it was music. Musician first. My brother was a player. I was a player. And I never thought when I was a young person that I could make a living playing music. It just didn't occur to me that, I don't know why, I just didn't have that growing in me. Although I love playing music and I still play music. That was the spark, was being a player at first. And then it just steamrolled from there.
So is there some common thread with artists that you have recognized that really separates the men from the boys or the women from the girls as far as that extra piece?
Yeah, I mean, I used to, when I did A&R, back when you met me, I guess there's many criteria, but one of the things that I used to look for, I used to look at, obviously songs and charisma and just ability, all around ability. And I used to look at people and say, wow, can I imagine this person doing anything else but playing music? And most of the great ones you really can't. You can't imagine them doing anything else but playing music, and it's that it factor or whatever you want to call it, X factor. But yeah, it's it's a tough business, and a very, very small percentage make it through, and become successful, and you have to have a lot of tenacity, and that's what we all look for. That star quality, that tenacity, that hard work ethic.
So in your tenure with RCA as an A&R executive and Epic as an A&R executive, when you got those packages in, what was that, other than the music, what caught your eye? Because I knew you had to get massive amounts of materials in. How did you weave through what caught your attention? And because I'm sure there were some things that you didn't even get to, you were so busy.
Music first. A good visual, depending on the genre, was certainly important. And seeing the act live. The bulk of my career when I was an A&R guy was rock, pop, and seeing the act live was paramount. I mean, that was always a factor. Very rarely did me and I think a lot of my colleagues sign a band just on a demo submission. We'd want to go out there and see the band and make contact with the band and see what they're all about. But I think certainly the visual, but the music was always first. You'd hear songs or a sound that just, because you listen to so much during the course of the day. So when something that would really grab you, you'd get excited, and then it would roll from there. Go out and see the band live. make contact with the manager or the band, whoever submitted, like you know, and you take it from there. Bernard actually guilted me into signing that band, by the way.
He's here.
What happened is I did like the band when I heard the music, and I missed, well, I forgot the first time they were supposed to play, and I had to go out of town. It was some kind of weird thing. And I felt horrible, because I liked the band. Bernard was a cool guy, and he was tenacious. And I ended up going to see the band like a couple weeks later in Tampa. Anyway.
What Britton may not know is I actually had your deal done before you even played the first note. Because at that particular time, you had arrived in Tampa. And Darius Ruckers and Hootie and Blowfish were in the room because they had just gotten their own label with Atlantic and Imprint. And then I forget you saying, what's Hootie and Blowfish doing there? I said, and I told a little bit of a fib. I said, they want to sign the band. Why don't you want to sign with them? We want to be with RCA.
You know,
what do you want to do with
Ronnie Chris?
Unfortunately, that wasn't the first and only time I've been played, but you know.
So now we know the rest of the story.
But you want to be, sometimes, I know this sounds weird, but sometimes, I don't know if you want to be played, but you know, that's okay. You know, at the end of the day, you know, the music and the band wins out. You know, if you don't like something or don't have the passion for something, you're not going to sign it.
Right.
I mean, you can only be played so much, but it helps. You know, it helps a little bit, I guess. You know, you have to work it.
So it's got to be a good feeling for you to have signed one of the greatest rock bands, really, in my book, in history. I mean, I would say they're in my top 10 list. So that's got to be a great feeling. How did you encounter Dave Matthews, and how did that all happen?
When I started at RCA in '93, I was a manager of A&R and a club rat. And here I am 20 some odd years later, and still a club rat. I go out a lot. And I saw them at this club called Wetlands in New York City, and simultaneously my partner on that project is a guy named Bruce Floor, heard about them in Los Angeles. And about, a week later, he said, "Hey man, have you heard about this band, Dave Matthews Band?" I said, "Yeah." Or maybe it was 2 weeks later, I forgot. And he said, "Have you heard about this band?" I said, "Yeah, I'm going to go see them again tonight." I saw like just a very small bit of the show 2 weeks ago, and I was there to see another band. I heard they got some action going on in where they're from, Charlottesville, Virginia, Richmond area. I said, "I'll call you tomorrow and let you know what was up." The first time I'd seen them, there were only about 25, 30 people in the audience. 2-3 weeks later, there were like 200 people. It was crazy. So I told him, I said, "You got to come out here. We got to check this thing out more because something's really happening here. And they're a phenomenal band, and they've got this incredible following." I told him, I told my boss, our boss at the time, this guy Dave Novak, another tremendous A&R guy, and we all went down a few weeks later. They were doing kind of like what we'd call a residency, I guess. They were hitting the same club over and over again and just building their audience. And we all went down there, and it was the third time seeing them. There must have been 600 people there. And we pretty much offered them a deal on the spot. It took us a long time because they were a very, very smart group of individuals, and their manager, Corin Capshaw, is a very brilliant guy, and he owns Red Light Management now, and he's one of the top guys in the music business. In fact, Billboard had listed him as number 2 most influential or most powerful music business players. Yeah, Irving Azoff and then Corin. And they had a great business plan and a great work ethic and just talent. And at the end of the day, they had an enormous amount of talent. And we pursued them for months after that. And I don't think we actually closed the deal until that was probably, when I saw them the first time, it must have been about April of '93. And we closed the deal, I think, in November of '93. A lot of work. And there was a lot of people involved. Joe Galante actually was the president at the time, and he was very, very involved in the signing of the band and making it all happen for us. It was a big group effort, a lot of people involved. And it felt good. We were nervous. It was Bruce and I's first big project, and everyone was looking to us, what's going on? And we're like, we're making it happen. Making this record, the first record, it was a lot of pressure, but the band pulled through, and Steve Lillywhite, the producer, pulled through, and I guess we did at the end of the day. But that's what happened.